The wait is over and the countdown is on.
The energy is just like palpable in town right now.
It's very exciting for the city of Farmington. I hope it's good.
They've traveled to the bi-state from across the country and around the world.
We have people coming in from Peru. We have people coming in from Germany.
It's a celestial phenomenon where skies will go dark in the middle of the day.
The colors are very muted and everything gets quiet and colder, so it's a really cool experience.
It's absolutely amazing though. You feel it, you feel part of the universe.
A chance to see the moon slip between the earth and sun, if only for a few minutes.
It's a phenomenon, it comes so rare, and there's going to be some changes, 360 sunset.
And we want kids to realize that this isn't going to happen again for a long time. So we need to enjoy it and learn as much about it as we can.
And right now, all eyes are on the skies as the total solar eclipse moves across North America. I believe this is Mazatlan, Mexico, and you can see we almost have totality there. Good afternoon and welcome to 5 on Your Side's coverage of the Great American Eclipse. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Kay Quinn. Thanks so much for being here. It's called one of the biggest celestial events of the decade. The total solar eclipse will begin to move into the bi-state any time now. We're getting closer. The solar eclipse will cross North America, passing over Mexico, the United States, and Canada. And in just a few minutes, the moon will block out the sun, as we've just seen over Mazatlan on the Pacific coast. The eclipse will travel northeast into Texas. That happens about 1:30. It will cover major cities like San Antonio and Dallas, where literally thousands of people have gathered. It crosses over southeastern Oklahoma, through Arkansas, and enters southern Missouri and Illinois just before 2 o'clock.
All right, so let's take a closer look at the path of totality in the bi-state area. As Kay mentioned, the total solar eclipse enters Missouri just before 2. That starts in West Plains, Eminence, and Poplar Bluff. The path then enters the St. Louis viewing area, covering Farmington, Cape Girardeau, Perryville, and Park Hills. The eclipse then crosses over into Illinois, traveling over Carbondale, Centralia, Mount Vernon, and Effingham. And thousands of people have traveled to the path of totality just to witness today's total solar eclipse.
It's an event that many cities and towns across the bi-state have been preparing for years. Traffic, undoubtedly a bit of a pain. It's going to be bad again after the eclipse. It has been a tough morning for many people trying to get where they wanted to be to view this event. Tourism experts say they expect thousands of people from around the country will be in Missouri and Illinois today.
And we're getting word that southbound Interstate 55 is very slow going right now. You saw the traffic camera. That didn't look too bad, but as they head to places like Scott City and Farmington, it's a lot worse. You can expect to see a lot of cars on highways trying to find the perfect spot to watch the phenomenon. And this is important. Police say don't stop on the interstate, and more importantly, don't pull over to get out of your vehicle on the interstate. If you want to see it and you're not going to get to your place, just get out of your car and try to find a safe place. And then people looking up while driving can be a recipe for disaster, so don't do that.
Don't want to do that. 5 on Your Side has live team coverage of the total solar eclipse. We have 6 crews at 6 locations all across the bi-state following that path of totality. We're going to go as far south as Cape Girardeau and all the way out to Mount Vernon, Illinois.
So let's begin our eclipse Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell. They are live in Cape Girardeau. Good afternoon.
Hello, hi to everyone from the Sportsplex here in Cape Girardeau, where hundreds, I think thousands at this point, are here in the fields all around this area for this amazing solar eclipse watch party. They hosted this also in 2017, and just in the last, would you say 15 minutes, it's gotten very quiet around here.
Yeah, everybody's anticipating what's going on. We already have contact, so we're already able to see the partial eclipse underway. By the way, you have to wear those solar glasses if you're going to look at the sun at any time except during totality, and that includes even if you're 99.9%, and that's not totality. You still need these glasses. Weather is very favorable for us this afternoon, and we're counting on that to continue. Right now, you look across the region, a few high thin clouds, and where the sun is in our sky over Cape Girardeau, the thicker clouds are farther to the south. So that's going to give us just an absolutely spectacular view of this total solar eclipse. eclipse. Once we get into totality, that's going to happen as we get just before 2 o'clock. So 1:58 here in Cape Girardeau.
And this is such a hot spot for everyone to be. They're expecting tens of thousands of people to be here, tourists, watching the eclipse from Cape Girardeau. We've seen license plates from at least 36 states, many different countries, and of course, Visit Cape, the tourism bureau here, is very excited because for a lot of places in Missouri and Illinois, including here in Cape, this celestial event, of course, means money. So this is a great economic boost for Cape Girardeau. Visit Cape tells me they expect visitors will spend around $400,000 at least. Now that's based off 2017 numbers. This weekend and then today, and that's equal to 4 to 5 months of the usual tourism dollars spent in this area. So a huge boost. We also met a couple from London, Scott and I did. They traveled 4,000 miles to Cape in 2017, and then again to be here today to join all the crowds at the Sportsplex.
Last time was, I think it surprises us how affecting it was. Like the actual emotion when you see it, it's like you get that initial almost like trepidation, and then you just see it, and it's just awe-inspiring.
And Mick told me, of course, he loves being here. He loves meeting all the people. He loves the Midwest. He loves that this is an open field and it's quiet. It's quiet. There's a lot of people, but you definitely have your own space. And he said maybe one of the best parts, the bonus side of the trip, is the all-you-can-eat breakfast and the barbecue. And you can smell the barbecue here. Yes. A lot of food trucks, a lot of rock music. So it's been really fun just watching everybody meet people from all over the country. Everyone's so friendly, and they're meeting new friends.
That's right, they're making friends. You know, you've got your folks from England that came down. We've got people from all of these 36 states. They've met each other over the course of the last couple of days traveling, and because of that, they have some new friends, and they're hanging out here in Cape Girardeau at the Sportsplex. Holden Kerwicki is over in Carbondale, another spot that is right in totality.
Exactly right, Scott. You just missed something that you would have really enjoyed. They just released a weather balloon from the 50-yard line that's actually going to be studying the atmosphere during the eclipse. And this is the second time in 7 years that Carbondale is in the center of the path of totality. So it should really come as no surprise that there are a number of NASA scientists mixed in with a crowd of thousands and thousands of visitors. SIU administrators actually began planning for this event all the way back in 2015 and have already sold 13,000 tickets for the viewing party here inside of Saluki Stadium. But about 790 of those seats won't actually have a view of the eclipse. That's why people started lining up before 5 a.m. this morning to get the best spot to set up their tents and telescopes outside of the stadium to capture this celestial event.
We don't know everything about this. This isn't just a go outside, ooh, isn't that great kind of phenomenon. There are scientists who are taking these 4 minutes to be able to take some serious study on the corona itself. And so these opportunities don't happen that often.
The solar line of how much solar energy is coming in.
One of the things that I've been asked by seemingly everybody down here is the crowds. Though they were estimating about 50,000 people to come to Carbondale for this celestial event, SIU administrators actually said this morning that number could be much lower because the path of totality passes over so many major cities this year. Our eclipse coverage continues now live with our meteorologist Tracy Henson. She joins us over in Farmington, Missouri. Tracy, what's happening over there?
Her 7th is graduating high school, so she's almost done.
Walking around, talking to everybody, trying to figure out where people are from. This is a huge park, so part of it is that there's so many people everywhere. It doesn't feel crowded down here. And Dina, where have people come in and checked in from so far?
So far, we've had them from New Mexico, New York, and Argentina.
Ooh, Argentina, Southern Hemisphere. Now, I have something to show you guys. I brought a pasta strainer, and we are starting to see a little bit of the eclipse here. So you can see it's a little bit of a crescent-y shape, a little bit of a heart. And as this goes on, eventually all of those little holes in the colander will be completely blocked off. So we'll get a little crescent shape here in a little bit, but tonight during our evening newscast I'm going to put this all together so you can see the progression of the eclipse through a pasta colander. How fun is that? Now people are already starting to look up. It's that little sliver. It's very exciting. So we are looking forward to seeing totality here coming up close to 2 o'clock. Over in Mount Vernon, Illinois, Gary Frank, what's up over there?
Well, you know, it's as nice as can be outside. We still, once again,
we got a lot of people walking around with both sunglasses because we got full sunshine for this, which is obviously key because for the last one that you and I were together at in 2017, it was cloudy. So we were really bummed out about that. But obviously you've been wearing these typically, but now we've got these on where I can't see anything. But of course, the sliver of the sun, as you mentioned, as we start to work our way into that. Now everybody's outside and we've got a lot of kids and they're starting to put their eclipse glasses on. And you know, the big difference for us right now is we are going to be able to experience the path of totality. Without these eclipse glasses, without the totality, you know, at 99%, you're not going to be able to experience what we've got coming up here in less than an hour. I did talk to some people from far and wide. The first person we walked into, can you imagine? Listen to where they traveled from just to see the total eclipse.
We live now in Nagano in Japan, and so we traveled across the ocean and several flights to get here, and a long drive. And a long drive, yeah.
So, I mean, it's incredible, right? Japan. I mean, there's a lot of other people, right? As Scott and Scott and Ann have mentioned, you know, we've got a lot of people coming from far and wide, and we're counting down, looking ahead. The weather's clear. The band's going to stop just in time for that, but you know, we're looking ahead to that, and we're going to check in with some people that have telescopes later on. Somebody that's been looking at this since we were 4, so we're kind of scouring and meeting new people, and that's, I think, what Scott and Ann were mentioning, Kay and Mike. It's fun to meet new people and talk to them and exactly figure out why are they coming to see this, hang out in Mount Vernon, or just everybody has a story, and it's fun to kind of check in with them as we await and anxiously await as we put on our eclipse glasses.
Wow.
Mike and Kay.
Gary, thanks. Well, so far we've heard Argentina, Toronto, Canada, and now Japan.
And England.
Yes,
Yeah.
so people have come a long way, and millions of people are in the path of totality today, thousands right here in the bi-state area.
And we'll have more coverage on the Great American Eclipse right after the break.
For everything you need to know about today's solar eclipse, just text the word eclipse to 314-425-5355 and we'll send you a link. And again, our special coverage of the Great American Eclipse continues right after this break.
Welcome back to 5 on Your Side's special coverage of the Great American Eclipse. Right now, we are about 45 minutes away from totality in the bi-state. This is a live look from Cape Girardeau, so when the moon first appears to touch the sun, that is a very special moment called first contact. We're way past that now. We can actually see that this thing is going to go 100% in the next 45 minutes. Thousands of people have gathered in the city of Collinsville to catch the total solar eclipse. While the city's not in the path of totality, it will offer a spectacular view of a partial eclipse.
And our Diamond Palmer joins us live from the St. Louis Science Center, where scientists have gathered to track and study this eclipse. Diamond.
Well, Mike, we aren't getting 100%, but we're getting the next best thing, which is 99% here at the Science Center. And there are people inside that are watching the NASA broadcast, but there's also some people outside that I want to introduce you to. Go ahead and say your names.
I'm Barrietta Killebrew. And I'm Vita Ross.
So these two ladies were here earlier, about 30 minutes ago. You guys were watching it. Just tell me about your excitement today.
I'm very excited. I watched the one in 2017, and this is my time to watch the second one.
Yes. And this is my first being back in the Midwest, but I'm retired one weekend, so this is really exciting for me. So I'm happy to be here and to experience this.
You guys chose to stay here right in St. Louis, but we've got Carbondale, Cape Girardeau, Farmington, all of these areas where you can see 100%. Right. Why did you choose to stay here?
Well, we were going to follow the Perryville bus, but we decided to stay here because it's local, and we just wanted to be in our locale.
Yeah, pretty much that's it. She wanted me to go with her. We were supposed to drive to Perryville and follow the buses. And then I was like, girl, let's just stay here at the Science Center. So that's what we did. We came to the Science Center because we felt this would give us the same experience. 1% different is not much. So we're happy to be here and to experience this together as friends.
Yes. Yeah. As friends, retired. I know that you guys were talking about earlier, you know, who's going to take the picture and who's going to actually watch it. So I think you should be watching what's up in the sky. Of course, if you are, you should be wearing those eclipse glasses. As you can see behind me, there's people still watching it. But if you don't have any eclipse glasses, the Science Center says you can still grab some for free. And the next one isn't until 2045, so you don't want to miss this.
All right, thank you, Diamond. And it was exactly 6 years, 7 months, and 18 days ago that we had the last solar eclipse in St. Louis. That was 100% here.
Right.
We're not in the path of totality, as Diamond just explained, but most of the sun will be blocked out by the moon this afternoon.
And our Justina Coronel joins us live from a viewing party at Herald Square in Collinsville. Justina, what's going on over there?
That's right. You know how some locations are quiet? Well, that's not the case here. It is a party here. That party started at noon, and there's a ton of fun happening. I'm going to pan the camera so you can see a little bit about what we're seeing out here. Tons of people out here. It's been packed. There's bubbles. There's a lot of local vendors here. Now, this party is hosted by Great Rivers and Routes Tourism, a destination marketing company working for 6 counties. And the agency specifically chose Collinsville because out of the 6 counties they cover, Collinsville is supposed to be the most time in totality with a 98.5% totality. Now, they expect it to happen around 2 with 3 minutes and 20 seconds. With the eclipse, local businesses are getting creative. Here in Collinsville, Old Harrow Brewery and Distillery created a solar shandy and a dark moon whiskey. And Uptown Scoops made an eclipse cookie and moon pie ice cream. The business is in its 2nd season, and the owner is grateful.
Oh my goodness, I am so grateful for the exposure that our business has gotten through this. I never expected it, but being a new business, it's really hard to, get that exposure, get the word out. You're competing against so many voices out there on social media. And so this opportunity, I'm just so grateful.
It's not only Collinsville, we also have businesses from Alton and other areas in the Metro East. So really an opportunity they cannot pass up. So a lot of fun out here. You still could come out here. This wraps up at 3. I'll send it back to the desk.
All right, thank you, Justina. Now, we are getting closer. We are literally maybe 40 minutes away from this happening.
And even though the St. Louis area won't be in totality, 99%, that's pretty good. But as Scott Connell was pointing out at the beginning of this broadcast, you do have to wear your glasses even at 99%. Once they're in totality for those few minutes in those places, you can take your glasses off. But if there's any sliver at all of the sun, you have to have the glasses on or it can damage your eyes. So that's very
Good
important.
advice.
5 on Your Side's coverage of the Great American Eclipse resumes right after this break. And welcome back to 5 on Your Side special coverage of the Great American Eclipse. This is a live look at Cape Girardeau. As you can see, we're getting closer and closer to totality as the folks in Cape Girardeau are probably looking up with their glasses. It's been 7 years since the St. Louis area last saw a total solar eclipse.
This time, the metro area is not along the path of totality. Weather First meteorologist Jim Castillo is here to explain the differences between the 2 eclipses.
Yeah, St. Louis so close. Just south and east of St. Louis is the intersection of the 2017 eclipse and today's eclipse.
So why is this year's April 8th eclipse so special? The path of totality of the 2024 eclipse is much wider than the 2017 eclipse, and the path goes over much larger population centers like Dallas, Texas, Little Rock, Arkansas, Indianapolis, Indiana, Cleveland, Ohio, also Buffalo, New York. Also, totality of the 2017 eclipse lasted about 2 minutes and 42 seconds right in Carbondale, Illinois. Totality on April 8th in Carbondale, much longer, according to NASA, will last 4 minutes and 9 seconds.
X marks the spot. 2 lifetime events in just 7 years. The intersection between the 2017 and 2024 total solar eclipse falls right next to St. Louis in Carbondale, Illinois.
And in 21 years, an total solar eclipse near our area will be on August 12th, 2045. When totality will be the longest of all 3, just over 6 minutes. The path of the 2045 eclipse will be from Northern California to Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, all the way into Florida. And there is an eclipse also in 2044, but that's more Greenland to Canada and the Dakotas. But the 2045 eclipse in August will be near us.
Yeah, we don't want people to get confused because
Right.
there are two eclipses in the United States of America, 2044 and 2045. But the one closest to us will be in 2045.
Yeah, you can get to it quicker in Kansas and Arkansas and also Oklahoma.
Yeah, you're going to have to take a much longer drive for that one in 20 years, right? Yeah.
Well, as the eclipse gets closer, the crowds are getting bigger.
That's right. Let's send it over to Ann Allred. She's in Cape Girardeau. Ann?
Hello, guys. Welcome to the Sportsplex in Cape Girardeau. You could hear a pin drop right now. I mean, you hear this radio station that's way in the back of the sports complex parking lot, but everyone's eyes are to the sky. Hundreds and hundreds of people just so enthusiastic about what we're about to see. It's already started. And here I have Debbie Wang and Adam Pham, mother and son from Toronto. And what a journey. They left Toronto 36 hours ago. Adam, tell me about the journey so far. You've done a lot in 36 hours.
We left at 2 a.m. Sunday morning, had a stop in Dayton, Ohio to visit the U.S. Air Force Museum, then made our way to Louisville and checked out the Louisville Slugger Museum.
And what about last night, Debbie? How were your fabulous accommodations?
Oh, that was quite an experience. First time ever. We slept in our car at the Walmart parking lot.
Yes, because
right here. Yes, first time visiting Missouri as well.
And what has been, let me ask you this first, Adam, why did you pick Cape Girardeau?
It was a game time decision yesterday afternoon. Looked at the forecast, had a couple cities in mind, but it looked the best here, so we got here late last night.
And you slept in that Walmart parking lot, got here before the parking lot opened. And what has been the most amazing part for you? Because Debbie's along for the ride. Adam is the real enthusiast, correct?
Exactly. I let Adam lead the way, but what I'm experiencing right now is quite a phenomenon. People from all over the places share the same passion and talking, and with the big, all kinds of equipment.
Yes.
It's quite something. Even Adam made his homemade lens to make sure to capture the experience.
Just really excited. I saw the eclipse in 2017 and knew I had to see it again, and I convinced my mom to come along, and we're just really excited that we have a great opportunity to see totality today.
It is so amazing. Even right now, it feels like it's happening very fast as the moon works its way in front of the sun. And are these working out so far?
These have been fantastic. We made some friends who had a Dobsonian telescope.
Yes.
I've got my zoom lens on my camera, and it's just been great hanging out with people who are just passionate about science and experience this unique experience.
Well, it's so nice to meet both of you. And when I came up and met them, they had just met people from Chicago, South Carolina, and Nebraska. Now you're all hanging out with that telescope and tent over there having a great time. So I hope everyone's enjoying it at home and enjoying our coverage. We're going to take a quick break, and then our team coverage continues right here on 5 on Your Side.
This Eclipse special is sponsored by Kloss Furniture.
Welcome back to 5 on Your Side, special coverage of the Great American Eclipse. Right now, we are about 20 minutes away, Scott,
25 to 30.
25 to 30 minutes away from totality in the bi-state. I'm so lucky I have a job assignment with the true expert here today. This is a live look of the moon covering the sun right now in Cape Girardeau. Thank you so much for being with us at the Sportsplex, where hundreds, probably thousands really, definitely thousands of people have gathered.
Now. You know, they have the food trucks set out, they have bands playing, music playing, you know, lots of folks have come, not only from around Southeast Missouri or the St. Louis area, which we've seen a large number of St. Louisans here, but we've also seen folks from out of the country, out of the state. It's been amazing to see everybody coming together, and everybody's here for one thing, that eclipse. Now, when the eclipse happens, you may have that urge to look up at the sun. but watching it without proper protection can lead to serious eye damage, even permanent vision loss. Doctors say looking at a solar eclipse without proper eye protection can damage your retinas, and that can lead to blind spots, distorted vision, and altered color perception. You'll need ISO certified eclipse glasses to safely watch the solar eclipse. And if you're using binoculars, a camera, or telescope, a certified Solter filter is needed to protect your eyes.
And it's not enough to just put, eclipse glasses over. And in fact, that's actually dangerous, because if you put eclipse glasses over a telescope or, some other device, you can actually burn a hole through the glasses and lead to direct injury.
And just to give you a little preview of what's to come, when you still will need to be wearing your glasses, first of all, instead of kind of putting them on as you look up, better to put them on when you're looking sideways or looking down at the ground and then look up. But you'll see Bailey's beads, which is the little bit of reflections, and then the diamond ring, and then we'll go into totality. But until we get into totality, you have to wear these glasses. You have to.
And then talk about the corona. I don't think everybody knows all the things you know about what we're going to see.
Well, and we're going to see the corona, which is the atmosphere of the sun, essentially, and it's
around the dark.
It's around, it's around the moon. The reason why we see Bailey's beads and that diamond effect there at the very end is because the moon is not a perfectly spherical round object. It's got bumps and it's got hills, and that's the light from the sun poking through. And then once it's completely covering the sun, then we will end up seeing the sun's atmosphere and the corona, and
solar
maybe
flares.
some solar flares.
Yes.
We don't know what we're going to see.
Some spirals.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
The weather, we have gotten so lucky. Let's send it over to Holden Krawicki. He is live at a watch party in Carbondale. Holden.
Well, and throughout the weekend, a lot of people were remarking about how the crowds weren't that big. Well, that really changed today when they opened up the gates here at Saluki Stadium. I've met people from all over, from Brazil, China, Thailand, and one person from Maryland, but he has a job that is absolutely out of this world. I'm going to introduce you now to Travis Waldrop from NASA. Travis, you're actually back home. Tell me what it means to be here right now for the moment of totality.
Oh, this is like cloud nine, and that's another pun for you, because there's no clouds in the sky right now, at least impacting the solar viewing. So it's very exciting. I'm a class of 2011 for SIU, and it's just so fun to be back. This is the crossroads of my career and the crossroads of the 2017 and 2024 eclipses.
You mentioned those crossroads. We're a bit spoiled here in Southern Illinois. We've had 2 eclipses in 7 years. How rare is that to have something like that happen?
Yeah, so if you were to stand on one location on Earth, you would on average every 375 years get a total solar eclipse. Now for that to happen in that same location twice in 7 years, you'd have to wait 1 billion years. So this is really truly astronomical and out of this world, as you said.
You've got a number of scientific studies that you're doing. You told me that 30 minutes before the eclipse, so about now, during the eclipse, and 30 minutes after, you're going to be launching rockets into the atmosphere. Tell me what that study is for.
So when the moon eclipses the sun, it actually gives us a unique opportunity to look at what's called the corona of the sun. And so we're very interested in studying that in infrared. And we're also looking for a dust ring that's around the sun. We think there might be some asteroids there. So we're just trying to see things that we can't normally see unless the moon has eclipsed the sun.
And real quick, you told me earlier, no matter where you are, no matter what your age, what's the most important thing to do today?
Well, the first thing is safety, but we want you to just observe. Look, feel, and listen. Does the temperature drop? Do the crickets come out? And what do you see? Do you see the corona of the sun? I think you will, and we're actually at a period of solar maximum, so you should really see a lot of jets coming out of the sun during this totality.
All right, Travis, thank you very much for your time, sir. And guys, one thing SIU leaders have emphasized is that visitors not try and rush out. Traffic is going to be pretty rough. I already heard some of those slowdowns you've been mentioning along I-55. But we'll be back with more coverage right after the break.
This Eclipse special is sponsored by Kloss Furniture.
Welcome back to 5 on Your Side's coverage of the Great American Eclipse. This is a live look from Cape Girardeau, where in just moments the moon will block out the sun. We are about 20 minutes away from totality in the bi-state.
You know, many small towns are along the path of totality, and that includes Cairo, Illinois. This once prosperous city has had a major economic decline over generations, and almost 90% of its population from a century ago is gone. Remaining residents say they are looking forward to tourists returning to the River City.
A lot of people don't even know we're here. So people stopping in our little town just because of that, it makes my heart glad.
For eclipse seekers, Cairo's lone hotel was sold out, get this, at $500 per room. That's normally $80 a night.
Yeah, Ann mentioned earlier, this is a big economic boom for many towns.
Right.
That, you know, Cape Girardeau is getting as much money as they would in an entire year.
They're
in just
getting
these
more,
few
in
days.
some of these towns, they're getting more people coming in as tourists just for this than the entire population of the town.
Yeah, it's really amazing what's happening. And our eclipse coverage continues now with meteorologist Gary Frank. He's in Mount Vernon, Illinois. Gary?
Yeah, good afternoon. It's noticeably getting cooler just a little bit, right? We're starting to see that just a little bit as we've turned to more of a crescent sun. And you don't have to take my word for it if you're not going outside with your eclipse glasses. We talked to Bob, we talked to Caden, we talked to Oliver, and they're looking at it quite a bit differently. And that's why we've been actually checking with them throughout the day. First off, we started with the sunspots. Talk about the setup that you have going on, Caden.
So I have a spectrum telescope filter, which is about like $50 to $60. Celestron Nexstar 4SE, which is about $500 to $600. I have a phone adapter from Celestron, also about $15, and I have my phone just like having a time lapse so I can just watch the sun.
So is this so you were in the 2017 eclipse? Is this something you plan to look at? How did you get into how'd you get into, hey, I'm going to do this whole setup?
I just like having a telescope, and I was like thinking like, Dad, can I just like bring my telescope and look at the sun? And he said yeah, so I did.
Yeah. So what did you feel like in the path to totality last year? We got a few minutes before. I'm going to be a newcomer because it was cloudy last time. What advice do you have for me?
Just have fun.
Have fun. Same thing.
Yeah, have fun.
Dad?
Enjoy yourself and make sure your kids enjoy themselves.
There you go. We're out here. We're enjoying ourselves. We noticed that it's not quite as visibly bright as it would be in the afternoon, and it's pretty cool looking at this. Tracy, we missed out on the last one. Tracy, we missed out on the last one. It was cloudy, and I know it's not cloudy where you are. What's going on over there? Is it you start to feel how cool it is now?
Yeah, definitely. And yes, I am happy to say that my forecast on Saturday and Sunday looks to be wrong. That is, I'm sure I'll never live it down with Gary. If you're just tuning in, Gary and I are married. And I'm happy to report that our high clouds are very thin. So that's really, really nice. Now, we, of course, will look up to the sky with our specialty glasses. But if you're curious, animals do have some interesting behaviors during eclipse weather. So animal behavior specialists say an eclipse can cause pets or farm animals to act differently. When it gets dark, some animals act like they would at night, but others may think a storm is coming, and for that could be a bit stressful. For large animals, having some kind of shelter or barn can help. Pets should be kept inside if they're at risk for looking at the sun.
Some animals are far more sensitive to different types of light than we are. So, you know, you'd want to be a little careful there.
All right, so if you're wondering, some primates in zoos have even pointed up to the the moon blocking the sun. Kind of interesting. Cows have come into milk, and that's exactly what I'm guessing our horses in Wildwood are going to do, is they're probably going to come in. They're going to want to speak with the manager, because once it gets dark, kind of twilighty like it will in St. Louis, they're going to think it's dinner time, and dinner time will be hours away. I do want to give you a quick update from the colander report here. It's starting to really get amazing. We're starting to see that little crescent moon shape there. You can see just the edge. So that's actually multiple projections of the eclipse happening right now. So we're expecting totality here in about another, about 20 minutes, I think, from now. So 25 minutes. Well, in Farmington, Tracy Henson, 5 on Your Side. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Tracy. You know, it's kind of an emotional moment. You and I were both out in the field for the 2017 eclipse, and it kind of takes your breath away. You get a little adrenaline rush. I mean, I think that it's a little bit unsettling.
I was in Hillsborough, you know, buses, lots of kids, and it goes completely silent other than the crickets start to come out. And then you start to hear, ooh, ah, everybody kind of reacts to it because it's just so unusual. Think about this for just a second. What if the Cardinals had a day game during an eclipse? That day game would turn into a night game for 4 minutes.
And the lights would come on,
and the lights would have to be on?
Right.
That would be very unusual.
That really would be. All right. We are going to continue our great eclipse coverage in just a few moments. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to our Great American Eclipse coverage. I'm Ann Allred, along with Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell. We are live at the Sportsplex in Cape Girardeau, where we've actually had to put up lights next to our camera to just so you can see us all the way, because it's starting. Yeah, and I kind of feel cold a lot, but I feel like I need a jacket, Scott.
Well, the breeze is still up. Now,
Yeah.
we do anticipate the breeze kind of settling a little bit here as we get into totality for a few minutes, but we're not getting the intense sunlight that we were getting even when we were about 50% of the sun
It's
being
the
eclipsed.
drastic change on my skin,
Now, so now you really are starting to feel that lack of heat coming in, and the temperatures will drop another 5 to maybe as much as 8 to 10 degrees before this is all said and done. We are about 12 minutes away or so from totality here in Cape Girardeau.
And you can hear the rock stadium DJ from the local radio station back there, but everyone is so quiet. We've got all these people around us in their chairs, everyone's eyes to the sky, people saying, we can see Pac-Man getting, you know, bigger and bigger and bigger. So this has just been an amazing experience so far, and still you can see the highways finally cleared because everybody's where they need to be. And of course, a lot of schools are trying to learn from this and this amazing celestial event. Right now, a group of Rockwood students are in the Cape Girardeau area. They are watching today's total eclipse.
It's one of those core memories that I will have forever and my students will have forever, and it was just the most incredible experience. One of those experiences that makes the hair on your arm stand up, and I had tears in my eyes and didn't even realize why that was happening, but it's just one of those amazing phenomenon that happen in nature that very few people actually get to witness.
So that is a Rockwood teacher. She brought her 6th, 7th, and 8th graders to come and see the eclipse. She says some of her students vaguely recall the last total solar eclipse, but they do remember the special glasses, of course, that they had to wear. So important as you've continued to stress to everyone that you have to wear those.
Until you're right up to totality. Once you're in totality, you can take your glasses off. If you're not in totality, you cannot take the solar glasses off. Let's go right now to Diamond Palmer. She's at the St. Louis Science Center, continuing our coverage this afternoon.
That's right. Now, while we don't have totality, which is 100%, here in St. Louis, we do have a partial eclipse happening, which is the next best thing at 99%. And as you can see behind me, there are so many people here. That means only one thing. We're seeing kids, which means they're not in school. Those parents took them out of school to witness this historic event. And you can see so many people right here in front of the planetarium just gathering, looking up at the sky. And I know that you guys were talking about how cool it is and how, you know, the sun, is nowhere to be found, in about 12 minutes, like you said. We are really experiencing that drop in weather. And a fun fact for you viewers at home, I was actually a freshman in college for the last total solar eclipse in Carbondale. Now, the scientists here at the Scientist Center say that not only are humans affected by this, animals are too.
Researchers have found when they've done studies during this time is that a lot of the animals start their nighttime routine. And if they're nocturnal animals, so animals that usually come out in the evening, they might come out early thinking it's time to get going.
Now here at the Science Center, people are still going to be here in about till 2 o'clock just witnessing this historic event. Of course, the next time we're going to see a cross-country solar eclipse isn't until 2045. But for now, I'm going to send things over to Justina in Collinsville.
Hey, Diamond, so things have gotten a little bit cooler, a little bit darker, but the activities are still happening. Y'all just missed the flame blower on stage. We're going to pan a bit so you can see how packed Herald Square is right now. People are already looking up at the sky, and the countdown is on. The eclipse is expected to happen here in Collinsville at 2:01, and it will last 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Now, this event started at 12, and it's been getting busier and busier. Now, we have a ton of local vendors, a bubble bus, and that flame blower I was talking about. Someone called it a carnival here at Herald Square. Now, lots of attractions, but of course, we know the biggest attraction today will cause everyone to look up at the sky, and people are excited. I spoke to one man from Collinsville who went to see the eclipse in 2017, about 2 hours away in Illinois. He said this time around, they weren't going to make that drive.
Well, everybody was, warning about the traffic and how crowded it's going to be down there, and we said, you know what, we'll just come down here to our friend Old Harold's place and sit and have a good time.
Now, we're just minutes away from the eclipse, and we can feel the excitement here, and so big crowd here, and we're excited. And also where there's a big crowd is where Holden Corky is. He is in Carbondale. Holden, how's it going out there?
Al, Justina, a hush really just came over the crowd just a few minutes ago. We are now, they have a countdown. We are 8 minutes and 14 seconds from totality in Carbondale, and all eyes are really on the sky. But for a number of SIU researchers, they're going to be opening up their ears to the world around them at the moment of totality. Beginning Saturday, SIU researcher Brent P. Peers activated over 900 audio recorders placed in remote areas across the eclipse path to study how different types of animals react to the celestial event. Now, those recordings continue until Wednesday, when they'll be collected and analyzed against handwritten notes from as far back as the 1500s. The audio project will then be edited together as part of a larger project to bring the eclipse to everyone across the world.
While we're listening to the eclipse, there's a whole group of people in the United States and beyond that really can't see the eclipse the way that we are. So the Eclipse Soundscapes Project's partnering with the National Federation of the Blind as a way for them to engage and observe the eclipse through sound.
Now, this entire project is being funded by NASA, and Pease told me it will be actually used as a baseline for scientific research in this area for the next 300 plus years until the next eclipse totality passes over southern Illinois. Right now, it's kind of a strange part of the day. The sun is still up, but it's dark. We have to have lights on so you can see me out here right now. It's very neat as we draw closer and closer to the moment of totality. Now, let's head over to Cape Girardeau, where we've got Ann.
Hello, yes, and just don't let the camera fool you, just like with Holden. We have lights on us. So it is much darker here than it looks on camera right now. Again, very quiet, and we're getting so close, Scott.
We're getting so close, so just looking here, we have about 6 more minutes. Actually, let's make it 4 more minutes before we're like at 99.9%. So we should be looking for the Bailey's beads and the diamond ring coming up within the next 5 to 7 minutes. It's going to be amazing.
And we have 4 minutes and how many
4 minutes,
seconds?
and I think it's 8 seconds here of totality. I mean, what's a second among friends when you're at this point? I mean, if you're in totality, it is an absolutely, really mind-blowing experience, and that's why so many people have made this trek into areas of totality today from all over the country, and for that matter, all over the world.
And because they saw it in 2017, the people we were just talking to earlier in the show that were from Toronto, that were in the car nonstop, really, they left about 36 hours ago. He said, I saw the 2017 eclipse, and it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And he's been preaching to everyone he knows since, you've got to go and find a place to watch it in 2024.
Yep. It's definitely the truth.
And so far, we have thousands of people gathered here in the Sportsplex, and we will continue our team coverage of the Great American Eclipse after this break. Thank you for being with us.
This Eclipse special is sponsored by Kloss Furniture.
Attention Medicare beneficiaries. Are you new to Original Medicare, just turned 65, are losing coverage, or are moving? At the Medicare Helpline, we represent MA, MAPD, and PDP plans for Humana, United Healthcare, Aetna, Cigna Healthcare, and WellCare.
I'm retired, and you know what that means. It means I let someone else do the work now. That's what I love about the Medicare Helpline. Choosing a Medicare Advantage plan can be overwhelming, and they make it simple.
He's right. With the Medicare Helpline, powered by SelectQuote, a licensed sales agent will do the work for you. We simplify choosing a Medicare Advantage plan with our easy 3-step process. Call, compare, and enroll. Don't let yourself become overwhelmed or confused. We can help you find the right answer when it comes to Medicare Advantage plans. We work with many of the nation's most recognized insurance companies on your behalf to find the right plan for your needs. In the past 2 years, more than 6.5 million people have called the Medicare Helpline.
I want to know if I can get additional plan benefits, like routine dental, hearing, or vision care.
That's a great reason to call, because many Medicare Advantage plans may include additional routine plan benefits that you may not have with your current coverage. The Medicare Helpline has simplified the process for so many people. Susan told us, "My experience was outstanding, easy, and informative. I got all my questions answered," and we heard this from Melissa. "They made it an easy process. Would recommend them to everyone." To find out about the Medicare Advantage plans with benefits available to you, call the Medicare Helpline now.
When it comes to choosing a Medicare Advantage plan, simplify your life. Let someone else do the work for you.
If you're new to Original Medicare, just turned 65, are losing coverage, or are moving, call the Medicare Helpline at 1-800-939-6078 for a free Medicare Advantage plan review.
Welcome back to 5 on Your Side special coverage of the Great American Eclipse. Right now you can see we've almost got totality. This is a live look from Cape Girardeau. We mentioned that 2017 was the last time the St. Louis area saw a total solar eclipse. This time the metro area, not on the path of totality, but areas to the south are. So we have live team coverage of the total solar eclipse. Our crews are following the path of totality from 6 locations across the bi-state. We're covered from southern Missouri and eastern Illinois.
And 5 on Your Side's Ann Allred and Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell. They're with a huge crowd in Cape Girardeau. Guys, it's happening.
It is happening, and the lights have come on along the interstate now. I think they turned them off here at the center, but they've come
incredible.
on. It's amazing. Night has fallen.
It really has. I mean, I can't. It's like 7:30 or 8 o'clock at night. That's what it feels like out here.
And we are close.
It's absolutely beautiful. It's the celestial event that you just know you're not going to see again until 2050 something.
Yeah, very close to Bailey's beads here.
And explain what Bailey's beads are.
Okay,
for
so
people.
you've got the moon, the lunar surface. The sun is 400 miles larger than the moon, but it's also 400 times farther away. So that makes it so the moon can completely cover the sun. But the moon is not a flat surface, and because of that, you will see, and here you can hear it now. You will see these little beads.
Here it is.
Here goes a diamond ring.
Woohoo! You see the tiniest little bit, and it's gone. Darkness has fallen.
There's the diamond ring.
You can take your glasses off. It is incredible. Let's get to Tracy Henson. Tracy, how is it there?
I'm gonna cry because I didn't get to see it in 2015, and I'm getting to see it now, and the weather is perfect, and we're all out here, and it's twilight. We can also see Venus off to the side, so we are seeing some of the planets. Not as much starlight, but we are seeing a few of the planets. I think the sky has really added to it. We got to see the diamond ring effect. Everybody was cheering. It's still kind of loud here. It's definitely not a hush over the crowd as we're all hooting and hollering, cheering that moon on as it blocks the sun here. It is truly amazing. A couple of drones are up. It's a beautiful shot. So let's go over to Holden and see how things are looking for him.
All right, Jason, we've got the lights on. We are right at totality right now. James, go ahead and kill that light for me real quick, buddy. And we're going to give everybody a true sense of what Carbondale looks like right now at the moment of totality. Everybody is facing the south, and you can see the beautiful corona coming off of the moon and the sun. It is an absolutely breathtaking moment. Some people have said in the past, this is almost a spiritual moment. Now, my producer Frank actually said in my ear, you know, listen to this. That's the crowd out here inside of the football stadium. Like, that just tells you a little bit of how loud the people out here are and how quiet the world around us actually is right now. We have the 360-degree view of dusk, which is a little harder to see in here in the stadium right now, but it is absolutely gorgeous out here at the moment of totality. We've got about 4 minutes. We're going to go up now to Mount Vernon, where my buddy Gary Frank is standing by with a view about an hour to my north.
Yeah, I'm looking right now, and I'm looking like everybody else. We're seconds away from it as we start to see the planets. I can see Venus. We've got one thin layer of clouds as we are minutes away from the darkness. And here we are, the Bailey's Beads. We just got to totality. Wow, incredible. I missed this in 2017, so it's pretty cool, man. Yeah, this is something else, right? I mean, this is why people come from far and wide. I mean, it's completely dark here. I mean, it's just astonishing. You know, it's, I don't know what to say. Like, it's really cool. Like, you see why people come out here, because it's incredible. It's completely dark. You can see the reflection right now on the lake. That's another thing. And I mean, people are just, it's just incredible, guys. I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's as calm as can be. It's dark everywhere, and it's just amazing. Wow. And we've got this for about 4 minutes here. Scott and Ann, I know you guys are in the middle of this, and you guys have seen it before, but I haven't, man. It's so cool to watch that minute by minute and just hear people's reactions. So I think I'm going to stop talking so they can enjoy it.
Everybody has really, there was a lot of applause and a lot of celebration, and now it's that eerie ooh and ah watching it.
The one thing I can't hear, just maybe because the live truck and the people, is the animals and the birds. What usually happens?
Well, usually you do hear, you know, the birds will kind of make the noises that they would make as the night falls, and you usually get some crickets and chirping. I don't know that just where we are right now, we're in an environment that would be able to hear that, but I mean, we can see the planets, you can see some stars, even with those high thin clouds. I mean, we have just the absolute ultimate view of this, and you can see it. It's live on your screen right now. And here we go.
Oh,
so your
put those glasses back on.
Gotta get the glasses back over.
Scott, talk about what you saw. Did you see Bailey's Beads?
Yeah, so you're seeing Bailey's Beads right now.
Okay, and
that
what are
was
we
the
looking
diamond
for?
ring. So it's just those little areas where you've got, it looks almost like individual spots, and we just kind of lost
around the perimeter?
Yeah, it's around the perimeter, around the edge of the moon. And then once the moon moves away, then more of that sunlight can actually come back in.
And I know they said you might see pink curls and solar flares. I didn't see any of that. Did you?
No, and I think if you were, if you had a telescope and were looking at that, it was probably pretty cool with that. So amazing.
It is absolutely incredible. One guy just started screaming and running back and forth. We got kids starting to play soccer, so people are starting to kind of move around a little bit. But let's get to Justina Coronel and see what she is seeing. Justina, how you doing?
Things are quiet. It was really loud here earlier, but now the tone, everyone is quiet, looking up. And while the sun is slowly starting to come back out here, it really is such a surreal feeling. Everyone gathered here. And I know the party will continue once the sun comes back out. This continues until 3, but right now, everyone's just looking at the sky and having an incredible moment. Let's toss it to Diamond Commerce. She's in St. Louis at the St. Louis Science Museum Center. Diamond, how's it going out there?
Justina, that same sentiment here at the St. Louis Science Center. Just very quiet, very cool weather. People not really saying much and just looking up at the sky here. A lot of the little ones are here too. We've got Jason Graham here. Hello.
Hi.
What is your favorite part about this eclipse?
It's my favorite part once it always comes dark.
And we actually saw a little bit of that darkness here in St. Louis. While it didn't get completely dark, we didn't have totality. We got the next best thing, which was 99%. And it's still pretty much a party out here. I mean, there's maybe about 100 people, 100 or more people here in the parking lot at the St. Louis Science Center. They're broadcasting from the NASA here at the second floor of the Science Center. But if you don't want to go inside and you want to see it in person, you can still stick around here for a little while. The next total eclipse won't be until 2045.
All right, thank you so much. It's great to hear what's happening at the Science Center. So what did you tell everybody what you just said to me when we were off camera?
Okay, so we lost like 10 degrees out
Oh,
here.
I mean, I have
Easily.
goosebumps.
And the winds died, and the winds died down. You know, exactly what you would have expected. And you know, in 2017 they said, "Oh, you're going to get this temperature drop." And I'm like, "It can't possibly, you know, it takes forever after the sun goes down at night to get that. It won't be that dramatic." It is that dramatic because you're losing that direct sunlight in the middle part of the day in this case. So it really cuts back on the amount of heat. You don't realize how much solar
when you
energy.
feel it on your skin, and then all of a sudden it's gone.
It's gone.
And in 2017, it was much shorter totality.
Yeah, totality was very
It was
brief.
2 minutes and something.
Yeah.
So we got almost double the time to really sit in that awe-inspiring 4+ minutes.
Yeah, it was great. And, you know, everybody here, there was a lot of oohs, a lot of ahs, and I think a lot of happy people. Now, some people are already packing up and ready to go because they came, they saw, and, you know, it's over.
They conquered.
Yeah, but it's getting brighter now.
It is.
Yeah.
Let's get back to Holden Krawicki, which you are really at the party, Holden.
That's exactly right, but it's crazy because as soon as totality ended, they had a little bit of a countdown. People actually booed a little bit when the sun came back out, but people are already starting to head for the exits. I'm going to be here all the way through tomorrow, so, you know, I'm going to be checking out quite a few things, but the person who really struck me the most, you know, their reaction is somebody who's usually behind camera for us. It's Allie Hebel, who is a digital, she works on our digital desk. Allie, this is the first time you've actually seen totality of an eclipse. What was it like for you?
It was really cool. I couldn't believe seeing the sun actually go on top of it and how cool it got, and really seeing the shade hit all of us and being able to take off our glasses and really see it was really cool.
You know, the fun thing about it, I was at Hopkinsville, Kentucky back in 2017 at the point of totality there. I had the same reaction. Now, I did have a little bit more of an expectation this year. I knew what was going to happen, but I actually stopped watching the eclipse and just started recording Allie over here. Now, we won't have another one until 2045, but for people at home who had to work or maybe missed it, tell them why they have to try and mark that down on their calendar already.
You have to see it. It's one of those really cool things that you can only see every once in a while. And now that there's not going to be another one for 20, 21 years, it's going to be definitely worth it to go see it.
All right, thank you, Allie. Now, let's check out what's going on in some other places along the path of totality. Let's go over to Farmington, Missouri, where our Tracy Henson is standing by.
Alrighty, Holden, and I have a very special family with me. I have Rich Warner, he's from Kirkwood, and I have the LaFavors, they are from the O'Fallon area, his grandkids. And Rich, you're kind of an expert by now. How was this one to watch?
Me and my third, I was going to joke around and say you've seen one, you've seen them all, but this was the most exciting, mainly because the last one I was alone in my yard. This one, the crowd, the reaction of the crowd was really, really cool. And then having the three girls made it very special.
And what did you think of the eclipse? How was it to watch? It was cool. It was cool, just cool? And cold. And cold. Describe what you saw up there.
I saw the moon like covering up the sun, and I could see like some of the planets and a little bit of the sun left.
So in 20 years, we're going to get to see another one. Are you going to go out of your way to see another one?
I don't know.
You don't know. How about you, 20 years from now?
I'm going to try and stick around.
All right, there we go. Maybe he'll have great grandkids by that point, you know? 20 years from now, we have some time. All righty, we're going to send it over, I think, to Gary. I was talking to them while I was listening, but I think over to Gary.
Yeah, it's me, and you know,
all right, Gary, we're going over to you.
Yeah. Trying to get some initial reaction. Yep, it's me. No, we're in good shape here in Mount Vernon. There has not been some mass exodus. I think we're still all in quite a bit of awe, just kind of getting some initial reaction. We were able to see the solar flare not from just the telescope, but to be able to see that in person. And we were talking, to Barb and Marie. I mean, you guys traveled a little bit, not as crazy as some people. Tell us about your initial experience.
Oh, it was just incredible. We couldn't believe it. Perfect conditions and absolutely stunningly beautiful.
I feel like, Marie, you could perhaps back me up on this. I feel like we see the pictures of it, we hear the stories, 2017, and then it happens, and I don't even know that you can describe this, right?
It is hard to describe, and it's not just seeing it, but feeling it too.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling the atmosphere change, and along with the sight that you're seeing.
It was so much fun, and it was so much fun, and I think that it's obviously still ongoing, right? We still get to see it as it exits, but just the atmosphere changed. And they came from Wisconsin, like many other people traveling here and there. But just being able to look at that, and we kind of had some of the kids with the telescope, just hearing that excitement and sharing that with them. And I think that was one of the coolest parts about all this, as we get to see parts of the sun that you can't see without a telescope or special filters. We're right there, and it almost, even though we had the 4 minutes or so of totality, it feels like it went by just like this after we've been waiting for hours upon hours, days upon days, and weeks upon weeks. We finally got to see it.
Yes, it did, but I will say the 4 minutes didn't go that fast for me. I felt like I really got to be in the moment. Hopefully everybody else did. This is Sartaj from Chicago, and we're going to come up to the camera real close because I want you to show. He was going to show you what he caught. He has a regular camera lens.
Okay, got it.
Come up. Do you want us to come up, Tom? Show you? All right, come on up, and then turn that around. He thinks he caught a solar flare, and he's going to show us what it looks like here. Give us your patience. Oh, see it? So show us totality, Sartaj. And then kind of how it, explain. Yeah.
Right, so as it was happening, we were, I'll need to go through a couple of photos here, but sorry about that. But yeah, totality was when it was fully covered, and so you can kind of see here the sun is fully covered by the moon, but what a lot of photographers try to go for is getting the solar flare. So as the moon is, is going through, you can kind of see it coming back.
And then you see that bright spot there.
Right, exactly. You can kind of see that bright spot coming out.
As close as there you go. And then just hold it as steady as you can so Tom can focus on it. So what was going through your mind when you saw that?
I mean, what a celestial experience. It's so cool to be alive at a time like this, to be able to see this in the United States with all of these people, and on such a beautiful day. Wow, Missouri really showed up for today.
Well, here, let's back up a little bit so we don't. All right, there we go. Thank you, Tom. So you're from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you pick coming to Cape Girardeau?
We were looking around kind of parts of the country to go to, and my father-in-law lives in Nebraska, and so we realized we can come somewhere in this area to check it out. We saw Cape Girardeau. How do you say the name? Girardeau?
Yeah, Cape Girardeau.
Girardeau, and it looked like a beautiful area, and I've always kind of wanted to see Missouri itself also, so we kind of took some of the back roads to come here, and it was a beautiful scenic day. And when we learned that there was food trucks here, it was a pretty easy win, honestly, to come through, and yeah, it was a great time.
All right, so I have a question. When I was watching, I saw that there was this bright bead, it almost looked like through my little regular glasses, and I kept saying, Scott, what do you think that is? And I'm not sure, but it was at 6 o'clock. So that may have been that solar flare you were seeing.
Yes, so that was
you saw it at 6 o'clock.
Correct, yeah, so that solar flare, that was, I don't exactly know, I'm not an astronomer,
we're
so I
doing
can't.
Our best.
Right, we're all just enthusiasts here that are happy that this is happening to us. Yeah, I'm not Bill Nye, unfortunately, but yeah, it looked like a solar flare. 2 or 3 of us kind of corroborated that, and did not expect to see that, and that was so cool to see.
It was very cool to see. Well, thanks for the time and for showing us what you capture with your lens. And we're going to go to Justina Cornell, I think, correct?
Yes. Right now we're in Collinsville. I'm with Glenda from North County. She came here to see the eclipse this year. You watched it in 2017. Tell us about your experience then and now. And is there any difference, or what did you notice this time around?
I think in 2017 it was a little bit darker, and this time in Collinsville it was a little bit lighter because we were in front of the old Herald building, so the street lights came on. So it wasn't quite as dark as I expected it to be, but it got dark, it got cool. It was very nice.
Yeah, tell me about your experience this time around and maybe kind of your first impression seeing it and seeing it dark and cold here.
I felt it cold, it got dark. It was a very good experience altogether.
Tell us about, one last question, really why you chose Collinsville.
Because I didn't want to drive too far, and this was only 30 minutes away from my house, so I could hear and be ready for the eclipse.
Thank you so much, Glenda. We're glad we're here today. And so we're going to send it to Tracy. Tracy, she's in Farmington. Tracy?
All right, so I've been talking to a few people, getting some interviews for later on tonight. And, you know, one of the things that I've been asking, there were some kids here who saw the eclipse. You know, they were from St. Louis and they were in kindergarten. Now, they all told me, you know, they remember watching it as a school and being out to see it, but they didn't remember any of it. So seeing it this time was really special for them. So I've talked to a few of those kids. I'm gonna check in with a group here from California. People are sort of, you know, packing up and leaving. I'm really glad they didn't leave right away afterwards, but there's, you know, people are certainly packing up the camp chairs, heading on out. So we'll see how traffic goes. Traffic was very challenging to get down here to begin with. So I probably was in about, you know, it normally would take about an hour and a half from downtown St. Louis. It took us almost 2 hours and 15 minutes to get down here. So if it's a slow trickle out, we might be in good shape. But from the looks of it, as everyone's packing up, I would expect to see quite a bit of traffic on Interstate 55. So if you are back in St. Louis and you are expecting some travelers from down this way on 55, just expect them a little bit later on. Hold dinner for a little bit because they will take a little while to get out. We still have some live music and people are enjoying their picnics, but man, it was just so beautiful out there. I'm so glad that the forecast panned out. Holden, how's it going over there?
Well, Tracy, I've actually moved up into the stands where things have cleared out just a little bit up here. And I'm hanging out with my friend Julie Bunt from Dixon, Illinois. Julie, you said this was actually your first total eclipse. Yeah. Describe that moment.
It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe how cold it got and how dark it was. And it just looked amazing. It's true what they say. When you seeing it in person is completely different than pictures or whatever.
That's what you told me. You actually had watched the previous eclipse in 2017 at the Adler Planetarium. How different was it being at a planetarium versus being right at totality?
Oh, it's hugely different. I mean, it was like now when it was 70% or I don't know, maybe it was 90% in 2017.
She actually told me she had planned on staying outside of the stadium, and they gave her some free tickets outside. A lot of people actually coming in doing exactly that. You know, but tell me originally why you thought about watching it outside.
Well, I just wanted to be with nature. You know, I hoped I would hear crickets and birds and such, but there's got too many people around for that, I suppose. But no, it was just really nice, really cosmic.
Just a beautiful, serene event out here in Carbondale. We're going to go about an hour north of me right now to Mount Vernon, Illinois, where my buddy Gary Frank is standing by. Gary, how are things out there in Jefferson County?
Yeah, we're enjoying the day. You know, we're just checking in with some people, some reactions, right? We all have similar reactions, but it's nice to see who was here for the first time. We got Nancy, Betsy, and Katie. You didn't travel too far, same direction that we did, but you know, how many times have you guys seen this?
This was my second time. I saw it in Augusta, Missouri in 2017, and it was amazing then, and it was equally amazing today.
Any differences from the last one?
No, I really, really enjoyed it both times.
And how about you? This is your
second time, partial at Glacier National Park on Lake McDonald.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then
this was my first time in totality. Amazing. Definitely worth the hour and a half drive to get here. Although they made me wake up early, but it was worthwhile. I mean, you just felt so close to it. Very, very cool.
It was so cool. Yeah. I'm just glad that we're able to experience it. And I know it's like we're kind of all fortunate that we can be within the last two, right? Because we have to work hard to get to the next one in 20 plus years. But
That's for sure.
no, we're not working that hard.
90.
No, we're not working that. You'll be right here. We'll see you there. Not right here because it's further south, but you get the gist. We're checking in with Tracy now. Still getting some reaction. Cloud cover wise, we're in good shape still. Starting to warm back up a little bit. We could feel that sun coming back out, and we're getting a little bit of more of that solar radiation that we lost for about an hour.
Gary's giving me a hard time because over the weekend I was very worried about high clouds. I wrote an article about the high clouds that could push in from Texas. Happy to report that it's still very nice. It was a picture-perfect view here. And I actually met, we could have gone to high school together. This is Cameron. And Cameron, where did you travel here from?
Fremont, California.
I'm from Sunnyvale, California, maybe 20, 30 minutes without traffic. So you have family here in the St. Louis area, so you came down to see it. Were you worried about the forecast ahead of time?
Yes, we were. We heard that there was a chance of clouds, and we had heard other parts of Texas were cloudy and stuff like that, so we were concerned. But today turned out to be great. The clouds barely covered the eclipse. It was great.
And describe what it was like watching the eclipse, where you came from a far way, so it's almost like a gamble to see it or not with the weather. What was it like for you to watch it?
I mean, we were prepared just in case we couldn't see it, in case the clouds covered it, but it turned out to be perfect. The temperature really dropped when the eclipse happened. It got really cold. I almost needed a jacket, but it was really worth it to make the trip.
Yeah, that Bay Area light jacket.
Yeah.
If you've been to San Francisco, you know what I'm talking about. Let's head it up to St. Louis to go check in with Diamond at the Science Center.
Earlier have now left. There's still a few stragglers here, including Amber Lodi. We found her. This was your first ever eclipse experience. Just tell us about your excitement today and what you saw.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to see the eclipse today, and it got dark and cool, and it was just a lot of fun experiencing it for the first time here at the Science Center, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
And you live and work here in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Why did you choose to stay right here? Many of our viewers know this was only 99%, so not the same thing as 100% totality. Why'd you decide to stay here?
I wanted to come visit the Science Center also with my friend and just look at it. I haven't been here in a while, and it was just really close from work, so it was more convenient for me to come here. And I thought the view was a lot better, so that's why I came here.
Well, the view and the weather was great today, and inside of the St. Louis Science Center today, people were also able to view NASA's broadcast of totality and then also learn about the eclipse from scientists there. Of course, the next total solar eclipse won't be until 2045, so if you missed this one, you are definitely going to have to wait a little while longer. But for now, I'll toss things to Justina, who's in Collinsville.
Hi, Diamond. Okay, so we are with Ezekiel and Robert. Ezekiel's 3, and they're from Belleville, and Robert really wanted this experience for his son because he remembers his eclipse when he was younger. So tell us about why this day was so important for y'all.
It was something that was pretty great for us, and I know I haven't seen the eclipse since I was like a little child, and I just wanted to bring my son out and us experience it together.
Tell us about his reaction, your reaction, and having this moment together. You said this really created a special moment and a bond for you two. Tell us about that.
Yes, he was very excited. He kept saying, the moon, the sun. I had to remind him to keep his glasses on because he was so excited to see the moon. And it was very, very surreal for us.
Tell us about why you chose Collinsville. I mean, I know there's a ton of places to go to, but y'all came here today. Tell us about picking this location right now.
It was just a great outing for everyone, and I wanted to just be around other people, experiencing the eclipse. I could have just did it in the backyard, but I just wanted to be around other people, and it's just a great get together for everyone of Collinsville and the surrounding areas.
Can you describe that moment when it was was going through? Can you tell us about that?
That moment when it was going through, it was pretty cool. I was using my phone. I was keeping the glasses over my lens so I can capture the moment for to show my wife and my son for years to come.
Well, thank you so much, Robert. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Ezekiel. Let's toss it to Scott Connell and Ann Allred. How's it going out there for y'all?
Oh, it has been so spectacular to be out in Cape Girardeau here this afternoon in totality for 4 whole minutes. Just unbelievable. We've had so many people here, and a lot of them are still hanging around at this point.
There were the few that were gone the minute that the sun started coming back visible again, and then everybody else is just hanging out in the field, talking, having their lunch. It's nice.
Well, and one thing about it, you're not going to move that fast from where these locations where large people have gathered. We're basically at this point, you know, traffic is going to be heavy, it's going to be slow. So if you've got friends at home that are texting you, maybe calling you, you know, that they're stuck in traffic somewhere, just tell them to go to a local restaurant and spend some more money in all these small towns. They would love to have a little extra business this afternoon.
And Missouri and Illinois are so lucky because this is such a great economic boost. The hundreds of thousands of dollars. I know they're expecting maybe $500,000 into Cape Girardeau in just 3 days, which is almost half of their yearly tourism dollars they usually see. So great if you can stick around, and they're all banking on it. So we did meet some people from Toronto and from London, and the Toronto people left 36 hours ago, and they said it was all a game time decision about where to go, and they ended up here in Cape Girardeau. And you said you were hearing about a lot of people coming up from Texas.
Yeah, there were a lot of people that were very concerned about Texas and not being great weather in Texas and even in Arkansas, and a lot of people were coming to St. Louis because from St. Louis you could go south down here to Cape Girardeau or into Arkansas, or you could go east over to Indianapolis. So St. Louis was a focus for a lot of people to come in yesterday and Saturday and then decide where they were going to go based on the weather. I don't think you would go wrong today if you went south or if you went to the east. It was a great show everywhere.
And let's get to the other side of the river with Holden Kerwicki. Holden.
Hey, and I'm still up here hanging out in the stands where a lot of people have really cleared out, but the party is really just getting started. I'm joined now by my friend Jordan Porter. Jordan, he's repping the state that he is from right now. He's got his North Carolina shirt on. You came all the way from Wilmington, North Carolina. How long did it take you to get here to Carbondale?
Well, we flew in yesterday from Raleigh, and so we stayed in St. Louis because everything was booked here. So it took us a few hours to get from St. Louis to here this morning.
Were you surprised at the crowd down here today?
We really were. We ran into a lot of heavy traffic on the way, and it was just kind of unexpected to see that many people flock to such a small area.
And you actually told me you had seen an eclipse before, just not in totality. How does seeing totality compare to seeing it in South Carolina?
Totality, it's just a really surreal feeling. The 98% that was witnessed down there is just not the same. Once you see the ring and everything, it's just a really real feeling.
And Jordan and I were actually just talking about it. As we were watching the totality go over, you could see some of those red little jewels that Scott was talking about. Scott, and I'm going to send it over to you guys in Cape Girardeau. Were you guys able to see some of that over there west of the Mississippi?
Oh yes, we had quite the show, and that diamond ring at the very end was unbelievably on both sides. You know, you get it as you go into totality, and you get it when you come out, and it just couldn't be any more spectacular than what we saw here.
And people here, somebody said it was like a religious experience. Someone else said it was the most amazing thing they've ever seen in their life. Another person told me, I was so emotional, and somebody else said, I just felt like what an amazing time to be alive, to be able to come here with all these people you don't know and experience something so unique. And he said, I understand it's been happening for millions of years, but there was just something about it. It was just this moment in time where everybody just stopped and saw this incredible event in the sky.
Well, and you know, total solar eclipses do happen. They happen all
Every
over the world.
18 months.
Yeah, but you know, to be under one and experience one, especially two, you know, in just a few years short span, which we've had in the crossroads here of Southeast Missouri, Southern Illinois, has been absolutely spectacular.
And let's get back to Mike and Kay in the studio.
Well, what a day. My favorite reaction from all our live shots was with Holden Kerwicki. Someone said they booed the sun when they could see it
when
again.
The sun came back. What I loved was everyone's voices went into a whisper.
Yes,
when the moon,
including Ann and Scott.
In front of the sun. Totality brings out the low voices, apparently.
Hey, well, you whisper at night,
yeah, you
right?
do. Yes. You're so right. So let's run down our next notable eclipse. It's going to be in Greenland, Iceland, and Spain. That'll happen in 2026. North Africa and the Saudi Peninsula, they have one in 2027. Australia, New Zealand, 2028. Africa and Australia in 2030. Here in the U.S., we've been saying it all afternoon, we won't see another eclipse until August of 2024. That runs through Greenland, Canada, Montana, and North Dakota.
And you and I will be sitting right here for that, right?
We will. And the following year, a total eclipse will cross from California to Florida. So if you get hooked on these events, there are many coming up that you can still catch.
And if you got a good picture and you were safe and you got a good picture, please send it to us. We would love to see your pictures of the eclipse for our later newscasts today. 314-425-5355. That's how you text those photos to us.
We'd love to see them.
Yeah. Well, it's been an incredible day. You can see, you know, we still can see a partial eclipse right now. But that does it for 5 on Your Side's live coverage of the Great American Eclipse.
Look for a complete recap of the eclipse on 5 on Your Side at 4, 5, 6, and 10.
For Kay and myself and everyone here on 5 on Your Side, thanks for joining us. And we now join NBC News' special coverage of the solar eclipse.